Good morning, Waggener students and staff. I want to talk with you this morning about our safety and evacuation drill on Thursday morning. I want to reinforce, considering some of the events that we've had locally in Jefferson County recently, up to a couple weeks ago, even with Fern Creek, that we really want to make sure that we're prepared just in case we have a situation at school that creates a need for us to, one, lock down, and two, evacuate the building. Both were things that we noted in another school were something that we think would be helpful for us to practice, and so we're going to do that on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. First, students, I want to reinforce how while we try to maintain a very positive culture at Waggener, we can never be sure what will happen in the community around us. We can never be sure what one individual person might choose to do. And so we want to make sure that, again, we're ready to respond in any situation. Today, though, it's not just about Waggener High School. It's also about the St. Matthews Police Department practicing their response to our school. It's also about St. Matthews Fire and Rescue practicing how they would respond to our school if we were in need of support during a crisis. All of those folks will be on campus. Further, students, don't forget there are community members around us whose homes could be impacted or just their personal feelings of safety. And St. Matthews Elementary right across the lawn is also a community partner that would be very much impacted by a lockdown at Waggener High School. So with that being said, when you come to school tomorrow morning, we're going to go to first period just like we always do. However, once we're in first period, Mr. Bates is going to come over the PA system and let us know when the lockdown is going to officially start. Students, I want you to understand at that point, we'll be calling for actual response from St. Matthews Police Department. Those officers will be armed. They will be going through the building room by room as they would if we had a situation that involved a lockdown. Also, students, those officers will come in the rooms, are going to see how you're acting and reacting during this situation. We need you to be following directions. We need you to be just where you would be if there was potentially an active shooter or a situation of danger in the school. Teachers, we need you to be prepared, have students under control, and make sure that your red and green placards are ready when we ask for those to be displayed. And again, those don't get displayed until we ask for those. So remember, there will be armed officers entering these classrooms. We want them to understand we take these situations very seriously. Further, students, there'll be other parts of the simulation that are not expected by staff or students. And the reason we do that is because we aren't going to be expecting everything that would happen in a crisis situation. Again, we're not telling you exactly what path to take because the police control what evacuation path we are going to take. We do know that we have at least 4 locations that we evacuate to in a crisis. The police department will choose what evacuation space that we are going to be using for Thursday's evacuation. So you'll need to be listening to the directions of the officers that enter those classrooms. You'll need to be listening to directions that are on the PA system. And very importantly, you'll need to be quiet and sitting where you're supposed to be in the evacuation location. Because again, you might be one of the first classes evacuated or one of the last. And you never know which one you're going to be or in what order. And so we want to make sure that you're always attentive. And it's critical tomorrow to practice like we play. I tell you that every time. We've got to practice just like we play. And for this might be stressful to some folks, even though it's a drill. So we want to reinforce to you that we have it all under control. We're also going to be debriefing after the event to see what errors we might have made, what things could we do better in a real crisis situation. So again, students, remember we're going to be partnering with St. Matthews Police and EMS and Fire. Please make sure that we're excellent ambassadors of Waggener High School. Also make sure that you're respecting everything that adults direct you to be doing, whether it's a Myers adult, whether it's a Waggener adult, whether it's an EMS, police, or fire adult. You need to be following the directives of adults, being quiet, not running, and again, just listening and alert to what you're being asked to do. Finally, it's highly likely that the officers are going to ask you to raise your hands. That is something that is typical protocol for an evacuation during a lockdown. Fern Creek students were required to do that when they evacuated their building. If you are asked to do that by these officers, you will comply and do that. Anything that they ask you to do, we will do. We will do happily. Because in the end, students, it's to keep all of us safe. My job and the job of the administration at this school is to keep you safe. That is our first priority. So anything that we ask you to do or that they ask you to do, we're going to need you to do. We're going to need to do it quietly and in an orderly fashion. So again, I know this is going to be a great success for us. I know that we're going to be an example in Jefferson County of a school that did a full simulation and did a very successful first running of one of these simulations, and know, students, that we will be doing these again, because we know that the more frequently we do them, the better that we will get at them, and the better that we'll be if we need to respond to a crisis situation. As always, I appreciate the amazing students at this school and the amazing staff at this school, and I want to thank you in advance for your cooperation. If there's any questions, your teachers are going to receive those at this time, and if they can't answer them, we'll make sure an administrator answers them for you in a timely fashion. Thanks so much, and we're going to have a great day on Thursday.